Five, four, three, two, one. Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, the studio looks a little different, huh? Looks beautiful. This is Podcast Space Plus, and I'm here with the founder, the owner of it, and I'm gonna give him all his kudos. But I got to fan out real quick because this is a beautiful space, and the man that I have. Man, we're gonna start it off in Haiti. But
Sheesh.
Chief Beethoven, he's gonna give us the game. I want to know about Marie. I want to know about Pepion. I want to start it off.
I forgot you the feds.
So you guys,
I forgot.
he's had restaurants, Cafe Hub. He has pop-up shops here in Palm Beach County. I want you to check this man out. Links will be in the description, whether you are listening or watching. We're going to a new level. Beethoven, welcome to Diversified Game. How you doing?
I appreciate you and the feds for inviting me into this show. It's gonna be interesting.
Just a nosy guy.
With a computer. A nosy guy with a computer does it every time.
Every time. But let's start it off because so many people don't know Haiti. Mm-hmm. They might not have seen Passport Heavy Jabril's thing on Haiti that he did, and it looks so beautiful. Let's start off how was Haiti growing up for you?
So I came here when I was 7. And I went back when I was 11, and it's been difficulty going back because of a bunch of other reasons, illusion I put in my own head. So growing up in Haiti, what I remember was just the family dynamic of all of us holding each other down. So my aunt lived down the street, just family support. That's all it was. Always for me. I always saw family coming together. We eat with each other. We eat at 3:00. We hang out with each other. My little cousins and older cousins, we all played soccer together. It was all a family unit. So for me, what I enjoyed in Haiti was the camaraderie, whatever that word is.
The camaraderie.
Yeah. And just the unity and how we all walked to church. It was just community at its finest from what I remember of Haiti.
And for all my bilingual or trilingual speakers, if you don't catch the word in English, say it in the native tongue, whatever.
I probably would mess that up too. So I'm all over the place. But hey, Creole's my first language, and I'm definitely bilingual.
Okay. What now in Haiti, when you were coming as a kid, did you even know anything about the problems that Haiti has, that America has too? But
I mean, from what I could remember, living in Haiti, I don't think I was told the negative stories. I was always told about how great America was. What I can remember, my parents just wanted to leave out of Haiti because it was supposed to be more in America. But they never talked bad about it. It just felt like there was more somewhere else. I'm assuming also what the news was telling them, and everybody else that left and went to America felt like the opportunities were going to be greater, which America is definitely land of opportunities for those that are capable of creating opportunities. Because if you don't know how to create opportunities, you're just going to go back to working for somebody at somewhere you don't want to work, because I think that's what it is. People create this illusion, and when they're in other countries, come to this country, but I don't think their goal is to work in a McDonald's. I think they create this illusion that America is better, which a lot of potential, a lot of great things, a lot of opportunities in America. But I don't know once they get here and they work at McDonald's that's the American dream that they were talking about. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And as a Haitian, the Haitian community, in certain African places we call it Jangi, but I believe in Haiti you guys call it a sol.
Wouldn't know, but that
where
sounds
it's
good.
the savings account where
like the flipping, the flopping of money,
and I get my hand this month, and then
yeah. I saw my family do a lot of that. The community here, and I mean in the U.S. and in Haiti, they did that. They gave that step up, and then you just pay it forward and you just keep that system going on. So I saw it not only here. I mean, I think I remember some of it in Haiti because I remember hearing these conversations, but I definitely saw it here.
And I say that's like the Hasidic Jew Diamond District. Your name is on the line if you don't pay your portion that month. And that's what in Black America, I'm from Oakland. So you guys see this red chief hat? Yeah, that's what I am now. But that you don't see that part of the community because in America, your name and your word seems to be every year it gets worse. People say something and next thing they're doing something else. And we all can be hypocrites, but just don't be a flat out liar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the name. You got to stand by your name. That's all you have. Like you said, in the Hasidic Jewish community, that's your name that represents you, represent your family.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wish we took the same pride in our culture, in the Black culture, that our name, what we represent, means so much, and that we protect it. So little Tyrone ain't going out there to act crazy because he's representing the Fletcher family, and he doesn't want to hurt the Fletcher family. So, but every community have their own, pros and cons.
Oh yeah, and I can hear the Hasidic Jews right now saying we got our. I hear it in Yiddish. They're saying the same thing. We have our own issues, and I get it because being able to travel, you get to learn. We're all the same. We just look different sometimes on that
100%.
outside. But from Haiti, and now you come over to America. You get to Connecticut. What part of Connecticut did you
Bridgeport.
get to? Bridgeport,
Connecticut.
Okay. I asked about you on Elm Street out there in Hartford.
I used to spend the block around there just to hang out and throw some parties and go home, but I wasn't out there, so you caught the wrong city in your investigation.
Okay. It's just being a nosy guy.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. I think that you're a journalist, so you do what you're supposed. You're doing your part. I think that's the dope part about you podcasting, and what you're doing is one of the reasons I got excited at getting you involved with us and us building this relationship is because I adore and appreciate the journalists that could get into this space. They could take off because you guys do more research. Like I do a little bit of research when I'm interviewing people, but I'm more of having a conversation raw with them. So the art of journalism, I think that is, I love the fact that you're doing that. So
okay. So Bridgeport,
Connecticut.
Were you thrown off like, culture change, language change?
I mean, 100%. So you got to look, when I first got off, first of all, I was 7 years old. My brother was 4. My mother just told me to hold his hand, make sure he get there. I'm in a plane. I never been in a plane before. So I'm 7 years old, and I held my brother's hand from Haiti all the way till we got to Connecticut. And all I remember was a package of M&M that I had when I was in the plane. I was excited about. It's crazy. I eat an M&M to this day. I taste the M&M like as much. It's crazy how that thing happened. But culture change, I was shocked, but I was always observing. So for me, I was intrigued by how fast people were moving and how I could remember it to this day. But when I got to my parents, my father picked me up. I don't really remember the ride from the airport to the house, but I remember when I got to the house, I had new siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who the heck? Like, I have 2 step siblings and I have a half sister. Okay, I said, oh, now this is your new mother. Like, so the whole thing for me was a shocker, but I was told how amazing the opportunity is going to be. So I'm locking only on that. I'm not thinking about nothing else. But culturally, I was more intimidated by I have all new siblings.
How was your English?
I didn't speak English. I went right into a private Catholic school, and I stood back my first grade year. When I was in first grade, I had to stay back because my English wasn't there. So I didn't know how to speak English. I mean, like I'm writing a book right now, and my writer had a conversation. She was like, "Oh, you were born into strikes. Like you already had strikes against you before you even got started. You couldn't even speak English." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't even know what was going on." But I learned it watching certain sitcom, watching certain shows, and like I love 80s rock. Mm-hmm. Like I grew up on 80s rock because that's how I learned language. That's how I learned how to connect with culture and influence. So watching way after Family Matters and Saved by the Bell and these shows that influenced me growing up, and I also my friends that were Black, white, Spanish. So I was around so many different cultures growing up that it didn't take me long after a while to speak the English language. But I did not have an English language going on.
So if that guitar start playing on November Rain, Guns N' Roses, or some Metallica, you
I already know. Not Metallica all over. Yeah, both, but more soft rock, more the pop, like I don't know how to explain it. Probably not even the right genre I'm talking about, but it is that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the we like yeah.
We will rock you. Yeah, all that.
all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
other
yeah.
good stuff. I mean, that's what I grew up in, and I remember we used to. I could never remember the name of the movie, but we didn't have cable, so we watched the same VCR tapes over and over and over, and that's how I started learning
Mm.
and started relating to the conversations over and over again. So yeah, culture shock definitely was because I didn't understand the language, but I observed everything. Like I, whatever room I'm going into, I'm watching every little detail because that's how I learn.
Okay.
So
How'd you lose your accent?
I didn't know if I had an accent or not. So I
Okay.
don't know how I lost it. I think because the English language or anything I hear to remember is a harmonizing.
Mm.
So I'm saying it in the same way I'm hearing it. So I don't know. I spent more time in school and TV than I did with my parents. My parents still have a heavy accent. So I believe like I know guys down here in Florida, they have a heavy accent and they had never lived in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
But their family, everybody around them have an accent.
Yeah.
So they're just doing what they hear. So for me, I grew up in the Northeast where I was around more American speaking communities, black, white, Spanish around me all the time. So I never really had the accent issue because only my parents had accents.
Okay. Okay. It makes sense. I mean, in the Northeast, forget about it. Everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
cursing and
Well,
all that.
that's New York. There's different parts of New York because everything's different. So Boston have their own swinging thing.
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut, very similar to New York, but then there's different parts of New York that have it totally strong, like
Yeah,
Philly, Jersey,
Strong Island. Yeah.
yeah. So this is different.
Brooklyn. I didn't forget you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my family moved into Brooklyn first, then they moved into Connecticut and just kept it going. So
Okay. Okay. So you get your English down. Did you always know you wanted to have your own business?
yeah, I promise you, I knew I was different when I was like 11, 12. Like, I knew I didn't want the same thing that everybody else wanted. I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And the more was just in coalition of just I wanted to free so many different people in my family and give them opportunities that I saw other people having. So I knew I wasn't able to do it just working at a McDonald's or what my parents were doing at a blue collar job, factory job. I saw them going to work to come home to complain. So
Mm.
it's never going to make sense to me. So I knew the capacity that I wanted to bring. I have a thing where I just want to think I could save everybody.
Mm.
So I wanted to save my family earlier on. So I knew I could not do it by just I could if I wasn't going to bring more impact, more value, I wasn't going to be able to do that.
How much of that was because of what your mom named you? I know in other interviews you've talked about she gave you that name because she knew you'd do great things. So was that always just on the brain even as a child?
Yeah, I think that's the foundation of it. Of just she expected more from me. She expected I was going to give more to the world than just the basic, regular. Well, I don't know what regular people do. So I'm sorry, I don't want to get into that. But I just knew there was an expectation for me. They didn't really tell me I expect more from you, but it was just like a standard. Like
Mhm.
it's just we're not coming out this low. Well, for me, they probably treated me a little different where because I was vocal, I wanted more. Yeah, look at it. I walk into a classroom. I'm a big black kid named Beethoven Francois. So the teachers expected more from me. My peers expected more from me. My leadership was organic. So I always created in my own perception that people expect more from me.
Mhm.
Those standards stuck with me.
That it allow you to miss some of the BS? Because in Bridgeport, in that time, Amorare, Latin Kings, you got the Bloods, you
Yeah.
got the gangs. Like, were you able to avoid that because you already
I
knew?
was with the shits. Excuse me, I was discussing your show. Like, I taste that. I'm from the mud. I'm from the streets. So it's like I was influenced by that culture. Like I grew up. I said this in a couple of interviews. I grew up. My idol was John Gotti and the Dope Boys down the street from me.
Yeah.
Because I saw my blue collar, hardworking parents coming home just depressed and sad and angry, and how much they hate their job. I mean, they didn't really complain like that. It's just you could tell they were exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was influenced by the streets. I wanted to see what it was like because everybody I saw lived different than my parents were living. You know, so I wanted to taste that life and gang banging. You know, Latin Kings. You know, Brotherhood. All these gang. I seen it all because my friends were involved with all of it. You know, I was too lazy to stay in a gang. Meaning, I was like, I'm so.
We got to show up to something, and
we gotta
gotta jump
then I
somebody
gotta listen
in.
to one guy, and I'm gonna nah, man, get out of here with all that. But you know, we always had our own crew, and the benefits of me is because I went to Catholic school early, you know, until about high school when I got kicked out of my high school, private school. But I always had different peers. When I go back home, I'm in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I started hanging out in different communities, you know, I'm with this crew, I'm with that crew. So I basically was part of 7 gangs at one time. But it really wasn't a gang, it was just crews. Like we all hung out and we held each other down. But that was a real thing in my neighborhood. I remember they had to block streets off because the gang wars were so crazy. I remember when I got to my high school, I remember some real street things. And I'm realizing it now. Like I'm watching kids that are like freshman, sophomore year. And I remember us toting guns around that time. I remember we had there was locker rooms in my high school where we knew there was guns there. I remember one of my friends had a gun in his book bag and they came and searched our classroom, our African American history classroom, that I could never forget. They ran in our classroom. They started searching. One of my friends to this day, he still thank me. I told my baseball coach, don't search his bag because he had the pistol on him. So my coach act like, just still a community guy. So he listened. I appreciate him listening and just giving him a pass. But he still ended up in prison for selling. He got caught with some bricks. So, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
And from Connecticut, and we're going to go back and forth.
I'm good with that.
Like this is the tri-state. You know, you might hit me in New York, but in 30 minutes, I'm going to be in Connecticut. And then,
there's different parts.
Yeah.
Forgot you're a journalist.
We're going to hit. Well, also, we lived in Springfield. I got married in Springfield, Massachusetts to my wife. So, and I was at 15 going to New York to get Clue tape. So I know something about it. Now, when you went to Atlanta, talk about culture shock. Connecticut to Atlanta.
Yeah. Different.
How did that go? And what did you go to Atlanta to go to school, college? Like,
no, I went to Atlanta to escape my reality. You know, I was knee deep in the streets. I had a tough relationship with a lady. I wanted to be free. So I escaped. It's crazy. The story's so nuts, man. Sheesh, Kellen. So I literally a day before, I'm on the corner of our neighborhood, and the lady pull up to me. It was like, "You got to leave this area." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about, lady?" She's like, She said something about my brother. I'm like, "Okay, how she know my brother?" She's like, "You guys got to leave this area right here. You got to leave this area." So I remember some of my homeboys went across the street. That's how we think. We so smart. We're gonna leave here, but we're gonna cross the street. Maybe that's because I told them. And then I took off. I left, and I told my brother, like, this lady that pulled up. He's like, that same lady 2 years ago told me about something, and somebody done something. And I'm like, nah. The next day they shot up the block.
Prophetess.
I was like, to this day, I don't know who this lady is, but changed my life.
Your angel.
So that week, I go to my parents. I'm like, I gotta leave. I'm going through so much things, so much life changes, and it's like I want to do good. I want to do right. I know my purpose in life. I know I want to build businesses, but I'm influenced by my community. You know, my environment built this guy that have to protect him, his family. You know, now I'm the oldest. Now I have a stepbrother and a stepsister that's older than me, but their lifestyle and my lifestyle were different. So now I got to protect my brother and my little cousins, my friends. So I become this guy you'll see on TV.
Yeah.
You know, to protect my family. In that process, I dealt with a bunch of different things, and it just was getting darker and darker and darker. And that Tuesday, this happened on a Monday. They shot up the block. So stupid. on that Tuesday, I went to my parents' house and was like, I gotta leave. They're like, what? What are you talking about? So the only person I knew was my little brother and my parents. Nobody else. I was separating with a lady that moment. I had some other things around me. I had people that owed me money. My parents said I have like $2,000 for you, $1,500, whatever it was. So I had my little money. Wednesday, I took a backpack and left everything. I left cars, I left apartments, I just left and went to, because I had to, it was just, I was too comfortable being in that position. And then the block gets shot the same day, the day before. I'm a very spiritual man. When God speak, I listen.
Mm-hmm.
So I, boom, gone. I moved down there with my little cousin, and then I was influenced by the Atlanta culture, man.
How old were you?
22, 23, okay. No more than 23.
So you were grown, out of high school. Was college on your mind? Or
yeah, so I literally, I had opportunities to go to college, free rides, football, I never took anything serious. I didn't take my education serious. Like, I remember teachers telling me they'll give me a passing grade if I don't come into their class because I was so disruptive. So they're like,
disruptive, like class clown, or are you bullying people in the class?
So what's the difference at this day and age? You know, it's different today because we all crack jokes with each other. Up north, we grow up cracking jokes.
Yeah.
That's all we did. We crack jokes on each other.
Well, it was a time too where you had things like what was it, Uptown Comedy Club? You know,
yeah,
it was all
all your mama jokes.
Yeah,
we had a bunch of your mama jokes. Like it was
Living Color. You know,
yeah. So I grew up on that. So we just cracked jokes, but I really never thought or knew that I was actually hurting somebody because they cracked jokes on me. We just cracked jokes on each other, so it just kept on going. But you know, I had money in my pocket. I was cool. I had shit. I was the man. So school was dumb to me. Like I went there to hang out and make money.
Yeah, I
gambled every day. We literally had blackjack gambling rings in the school that I pay for this floor, you pay for that floor. I was training how to be a businessman all through growing up. Can never forget my homeboy, Eddie. We went and shoved part of that process. I remember we had a bright idea. We're going to go shovel snow from 6 a.m. to like midnight, 2 in the morning. I got my behind whooped so bad because I wasn't supposed to be out. We're 12, 13, probably 14 at the max. I'm gone all day. My parents, we have no cell phone, we have no nothing. But I came back with like $300 in my pocket. I was rich.
Yeah.
We probably didn't even make that much. But I know we went out there and we shoveled. So the grind was in me. I had the entrepreneur spirit, but I'm a product of my environment.
Yeah.
I didn't have the uncle that had a boat that could take me out in his boat or show me this or show me that. I didn't want to see what nobody in my family was doing because they were just another blue-collar, poor family. They worked hard, so I saw that consistency. But they didn't have the things that I wanted. So, you know, growing up in high school, I had all the opportunities to play football. But I got injured, got treated different after I got injured. But I wasn't really into it. I wanted to make money. It wasn't, because I saw money freeing people.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything else. So I wanted to get to the money. So I went to 2 semesters. I remember college paying for my applications. All that sport thing, I was like, yo, this is cool, but I know this dude down the street is doing some numbers. He has a BMW, he has a Jaguar, you guys look crazy. I'm out of here. Then I started doing parties, and I started making cash. I was a rap. I was like, I'm not doing this school thing. This thing is stupid. You telling me I'm going to go, and now I'm doing 60 to 70, $80,000 a year. This professor is only making 40 grand. You think I'm about to go and hear a bunch of $40,000 people talking about whatever, and I'm already doing 70, 80,000? Then I'm watching my stepsister and other people in my family go to school to just collect debt. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 for me, so it's not going to work out. But I didn't understand the value of school. Now I understand it. But
yeah, of course, you know, hindsight and seeing the full picture. I mean, you need a crystal ball or you need to listen to the old people to really get it. But you were in the zone, and then you get to Atlanta AU Circle. I'm surprised just for that, because I know you were at the Circle.
Let me tell you, I hung out at Clark I hung out. Like it changed my life. One of the reasons it changed my life, I've never seen black people in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is crazy. You got a Royal, you got a you get dropped off in a Bentley every morning.
Yeah.
Your father owns this building.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Like, I saw black quality, and not that I didn't. I mean, luckily, I grew up across the street from, we'll call it Grandma Iris. I saw black quality. I saw all her daughters become attorneys, nurses, just treasures of the community. Like, I saw a lot of impactful thing watching, and even my own family, just a lot of great things around me for black. But I didn't see black wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Atlanta is black. So I grew up with black, white, purple. Like, there was, like, I promise you, I swear, I used to always say this joke. We didn't know we was a different color until we got to high school.
Huh.
Like, because we all hung out. Like, I remember my white friends across the street from me, mom pinching me when I did something stupid.
Yeah.
Like, we grew up in that type of environment that there wasn't no color. It was just
community.
It was community.
Real
so
community.
Then when I got to Atlanta, for me to see how black people actually produced quality and came together and developed. And I had a younger cousin that was already there. So he was, he's moving 100 miles an hour. So I'm watching his moves, but then I'm watching how I move. I'm like, this works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get myself in position to start building networking? And then it was on from there. I wanted more. I wanted to create. I wanted a business. And I saw big promotions. I remember, like I said, let's say if I'm doing 5, 10, 20,000, I'm seeing guys doing 100K in the club.
Yeah.
A night. I'm watching the guy that's a promoter also own the club. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I saw the level of success I saw from black people in Atlanta was one of the reasons I was excited moving to Atlanta.
It flipped your mind. At what point was it Atlanta that you found? I know you have a quote out there that you like, and I'm going to paraphrase, and it talks about how, your business people will be quicker to be your friends and help you out than your family and friends. Was it in Atlanta that you found that out?
You're a journalist for real. You don't play about your research. So yes, 100%. Yeah, in Atlanta, but more so here. In Atlanta, because I was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And the foot out was so real. Like, I saw street dudes in Atlanta. It's different. Like, I was around the Big Meech eras. I was around. I was in a Big Meech era from leaving Connecticut to Atlanta. So I remember going into a BMF party with Fabulous, the artist Fabulous. I was booking Fabulous for a show, so I went and gave him his deposit money at a BMF party. And dudes thinking I'm down with BMF because I'm backstage now dealing with the promoter. I think it was Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty, Mike, like one of them I was meeting with in the back, and it's magical. Like, just seeing how dudes, they were solid dudes. They were good brothers, but it was just a lot of money, a lot of dope money, a lot of street money that was dealing with
allegedly,
that free
Meech.
100%.
Yeah, because the biggest dope money is in DC, and it goes all throughout this country and the world.
Yeah, but, I'm not trying to get snatched up, Kellen. So yeah, whatever you say.
That's my words, not 100%. Yours. But Meech didn't have no boats, no planes, or anything like that he owned. I'll say that
he had access, but I think for me, I saw street money Atlanta. I saw, the big rims. Cause I didn't have that up north. Like,
so the spinners.
Saw the spinners. We had spinners up there also. So, but I saw real money. I saw shoebox money. I saw 100, 200, 300,000 cash on people's tables. Like, I saw plays, and the entertainment was hot back then. So then, I had a godfather that gave me exposure. He showed me wealth. He showed me private jets. He showed me other successful business. He showed me development. He showed me money. He put all those things in my face and showed me all the exposure, and he invested in me screwing up. It's crazy that everything I'm going through now, I cannot take any credit instead of, because he's part of that. He gave me the 10,000 to go screw up, and then when I screwed up, how do we bring it back? How do we build? How do we learn from that mistake and build an infrastructure? That's why everything I go through now, like I'm more focused on building infrastructure because I know how blessings come. I'm super blessed, but having an infrastructure to when the blessings come to be prepared for it is what I've learned from my trial and error in Atlanta, in Connecticut. I always wanted more. I never wanted to go into the streets, but that was my environment. So I went and I tried that environment. It worked out. I was able to be free from it and never having to go back. Um, but I realized every time I was up financially, I didn't have the infrastructure. So the financial blessing that never went without the infrastructure. So I only focus on infrastructure now because I know how to make money.
Did your parents connect you with Steve, or was that a connection you made on your own? Because people hear this and say, "See, I haven't met that person who will put me on, and I'm just waiting for somebody."
No, it wasn't my parents. So it was me.
Mhm.
From friends and like other friends. My friends growing up, that was became their adopted father.
Okay. Okay.
So if I explain the story, it's so bogus because he was there 2 weeks out of the month,
Mhm.
and the other 2 weeks, my friends were there in their home house. They were 16 with their own house. Can't explain it. It's very difficult to explain it. And he took us in and he showed us the process of life. So my parents that hooked me up, God put me on.
Well, and this is a side note. I'm not going to go too much in the story, but at that 2 weeks, because I almost act like I know him. He wasn't in California for the other 2 weeks, or Hispania,
He was in
was he?
Florida.
He'd be in
He was
Florida.
in Palm Beach.
Okay.
That's how I end up here.
Okay, I thought,
Yeah,
I might. I said, hold on.
No.
But some stories can only be told off camera. And you guys know
100%.
the best conversations I tell you are off camera because there's certain business that is none of yours, and y'all know say at the end of the day.
Yeah, you
Now,
don't say.
in Atlanta, you got at that time Jermaine Dupri, talk about privilege. His daddy is, king of music that nobody, they didn't know at the time, but you got Jermaine Dupri, the Brat, everybody out there. The strip club culture is big. That doesn't make sense to me being from California where we didn't understand, like, y'all really kick it at the strip club and it's the club.
It's a lifestyle. Like, I'm a strip club veteran. I'm gonna be dead serious about it. It's a lifestyle. People watching this are gonna be like, no, I'm dead serious. So when that song "I'm in Love with a Stripper" came out, I thought I was in love with a stripper.
Yeah.
For whatever the strip club culture in Atlanta back then was, you eat there, you hang out there, you socialize there. I remember speaking to a realtor that I was looking for a new apartment to stay. She's like, meet me at Magic City. What? That's a strip club. Yeah, she's like, meet me at Magic City. And she's a teacher. And she's like, you have to understand the culture in Atlanta. So, and I was part of when that culture was getting publicized. Like it was starting to be a thing where the strip club, Jeezy, all the recording studios was in Atlanta. That's where the hip hop culture was shifting to. I was part of it. I seen all that stuff in firsthand. Like Shake That Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
Like the
Justin's expanded from New York to Atlanta.
Listen,
yeah.
I remember when they were building Justin. I think it was at a year or the year before, year after I moved in, when they were trying to build Justin's on Peachtree. Like, I remember all that, man. I remember my second week in Atlanta, I went to Chick-fil-A for the first time. And I'm watching Tiny, T.I.'s wife, in Chick-fil-A in Buckhead. But I was so hooked up with this Chick-fil-A sandwich. I was like, what the? This is a chicken sandwich? It was crack. So
and that was Tiny before the eyes and everything else that's been added on.
It was Tiny before all the extra pieces that's been added on to her. But it was just, that's the community. Like I said, man, Atlanta's a full culture. If you want to experience Black hip hop culture and Black quality culture, but then there's also the white and Black that hang out together, that party together, eat together. Some of the best restaurants. Atlanta's dope, but you got to be ready for it. It's a culture shock. If you're not ready for Atlanta, it will suck you up a lot. Because if you try to be like the others, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If you got to be ready for Atlanta, because Atlanta will definitely change your life.
I remember getting my first pair of blue hush puppies and a fake Versace shirt with
You were
the
ready.
chain that I got from the underground in Atlanta about 16, 17.
You was ready.
And I was ready. So I feel it. I get the envision. And I'm like,
it's
you
something.
know.
It's something special. And then even the downtown underground is different today than it was back then. But you could buy a chain in the underground. You could buy a person in the underground. You could buy crack. You could buy
And you didn't have to step
weed.
in one store. You could just be walking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many. Oh my. And I remember when the jerseys was out with the fitteds and the jersey. Man, Atlanta's special, man. Atlanta's special. And like I said, the strip club culture in Atlanta is not the strip club, like the gentleman's club. It's a social hub. It's a social house. It's a creative social house. It's the best thing I could put it.
Did you find more peace? Because on the, in Connecticut, you got the grinder shops and everybody's getting pizza late night, but anything can crack down. But because of that weather isn't as nice. In Atlanta, everybody's halfway naked.
Well, we in a Waffle House in Atlanta. Atlanta's Waffle House. That's the culture after the club. Up north, when you hungry, you go to the pizza or you go to a diner. Atlanta is Waffle House and strip club, but the strip club closed at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So you leaving out of there with wings and fries. So the craziest time for food in Atlanta is between 3 and 6, 3 and 5. That's when everybody's trying to get their food before they get in the car and eat, try to get sobered up so they get back on the road to drive. But, Magic City food was always amazing. Body Tap back then was amazing. Great food, great atmosphere. I know all of them, so let me stop all of them.
You guys, again, some things will only be said off air. You get the Atlanta culture. What makes you want to say, okay, let me go check out Florida?
Well, my godfather, once again, the influence that he had in my life and the position that he wanted for me made me come into Florida. Let me give you more clarity. This was my white godfather. That was a well-off, started off in investment banking that I learned as we went on, and then became a developer and was dealing with a lot of the equestrians in Wellington. So you got to look at it. I remember Bob Johnson and Sheila Johnson offering me a job from BET that I felt like I was too good for because I already was making a little bit of money in my pocket. I wanted to live the fast life, and I always lived 3 different lives. I was Beethoven at my parents' house. I was Beto in my parents' house. When I was with Steve, I was Beethoven, that young, hungry godson that he helps out and guide. In the streets, I was Hove.
Yeah.
So I had 3 lives I was living. I always lived 3 lives. I'm just learning how to live one now.
Yeah.
But so I'm not going too deep in my Hove days in Atlanta. So I want to focus more on my Beethoven days with Steve transitioning, telling me. I remember he took me down to an event called Denim and Diamonds and down here because I was promoting an event. And I saw this very high level production of equestrians and polo and the numbers that they were making. I was like, this is crazy. But I was able to see the behind the scene of it. I was able to see the behind the scene of development, being able to see the behind the scene of financials coming together to develop the polo grounds and the equestrian jumpers. And I'm eating brunch with the Bush sisters, like twin sisters. Like I'm talking about
Chilling with the Blue Bloods.
Bloomberg. Like I'm talking about like things that Hove don't go to.
Yeah.
Things that the kid from Bridgeport from Haiti don't go to. I'm getting a chance to see this firsthand. I remember flying in a private jet for the first time, and the pilot came out and took my bag. That's the extreme. I'm talking about Beto, Hove, and Beethoven. 3 different people. All of them are extreme, but I'm able to live all 3 of the lifestyles at the max. So when I got here, my godfather was like, I want you to come to this event. I was living in Atlanta. He's like, forget about this little thing that you're doing. Let's go bigger. So I came down here to do bigger. So, but I had a Hove opportunity when I was there. And before I made that Hove opportunity, Steve was like, come with me. And that week I missed out on the Hove opportunity. And that Hove opportunity, somebody got arrested for a long time. And I was just going to be in that same thing. Once again, grace, God has always favored me on, that's why I'm still here.
Yeah.
So
And he always give you a warning before it hit. That's in the scriptures. He gives you a warning. Now, if you listen to it, that's on you.
But I'm super obedient. That's one of my gifts of being obedient. And what happened was I missed out the whole opportunity, but Steve had me down there for so long. Then that next week I was like, I'm moving down.
Yeah.
So I just left Atlanta again. I just get up and leave. Because one thing, I get clarity. When I got clarity, I could go. Like, it's time for me to free myself. So I got down here and I saw I was living extreme though. So you gotta look at it. I was living in Wellington with the Polo Club and all the wealth. I didn't know about Riviera Beach. I didn't know about down. So the first time I can never forget, they told me where I could find black people at. It's the craziest conversation. They're like, at the mall. On Palm Beach Lakes, there was a mall. They're like, you can find black people over there. I was like, this is like a real conversation. Because when I was in Wellington, everybody was, it's different. It's different. Nobody want to wait in line. Everybody was too good for each other. And I'm still Beethoven from the hood. Like, I don't know what you like. I don't care. We got to wait in line for a sandwich. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm still sagging going into
Ollie's.
No, not even Ollie's.
In Wellington.
I'm going into the Polo Club. I'm going to the equestrians and I'm sagging.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what's going on. But I'm a reptile, so I could move. Like, I could change up pretty quickly by observing and watching and seeing, all right, this is not going to work. Me just out here thugging. It doesn't look good. It doesn't work like so. I started wearing polos and,
You could have been the Van Lexer twins from the Boondocks, the black version.
It wasn't that.
Come in there.
It was none of that. So then when I got here, my godfather was like, hey, in order for you to learn the community, you should work in the community. So go mentor kids at this place. Go mentor kids. Go work at the city of West Palm Beach. And I remember going to work at the city of West Palm Beach to mentor kids because I wanted to learn the politics, the community.
Is this before you started mergehiphop.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
This dude's a savage. All that is way before. I found the flea market, the 45th Street flea market. I was like, this is different from where I'm from. I didn't know the dunks like that. I didn't know the knotted dreads. It was different. So that was my transitioning of learning that community, learning the Pinewood. Like, I learned the hood. I was in the hood then. At this point, it's full effect. I'm on go mode. Yeah. I'm working there. But meanwhile, I got a bunch of money stacked up. I got a lifestyle. I have all these other things that I do. Like, I flew in private jets. I'm flying first class. Like, it's not every day, but I've had those experiences and I'm going back to the hood, like to get back to where I really know. Not
to cut you, but you did it and he didn't sit on the stairs and take a picture like some of the posers are now for $100 or
no, I was in the mud.
Yeah.
Nah, this was me, Marvelous Washington, Mike Seville, Juan, like a whole bunch of us. We came together to build a youth empowerment center that they model off of what we did now.
But with the planes, I'm saying, being on the private planes, I don't see you on.
Oh, no.
Guys are sitting with their bags, and you're like, that's not how you even fly
I didn't
private.
even. First of all, I was ignorant, so if I had the opportunity, I probably would have did that. But then we didn't have those tools back then. Then I was flying with a corporate guy that owned a lot. We're just going on a plane to get to Connecticut and coming back home. Yeah, and I come back home with him, and
it's like taking a taxi.
Yeah, basically, it was like my godfather knew him. He always wanted to give me an exposure. So he's like, yo, fly with him to Connecticut. You got to go to Connecticut anyway. Just fly with probably Robert, but I can't remember the guy.
We don't really do names too much anyway,
I don't really remember the name, but I flew in with him and I flew back with him. I flew in a private jet about twice. But that experience was the exposure that I had. But then my godfather was like, no, you need to go back to see the clarity of where you are. Which that transition was great for me because I was such on a high horse and doing all these things and living a certain way. And then when I got back to the mud, I was like, oh, this is what it used to be like for me. This is the reality I need to go back. And this is where I could bring value to because I understood them and I also saw more. So now I could bring more with me.
But how did the hood treat you? Because, it's not always good when
they
you
didn't
got
understand me because you got to look at it because
Huh? What'd you say?
Didn't
Like when you go around white folks sometimes and they'd be like, with an accent, like, oh, I don't get what
they
you
don't understand.
Yeah.
So I was opposite.
Yeah.
I was pronouncing all my word. It wasn't like bed what boy, what you call my they weren't used to my language.
Yeah.
But not only that, you gotta look at it. I'm three people. Once again, I'm Beto, I'm Hove, and I'm Beethoven. So on the wrong day, you might catch Hove. You think I'm coming here as just Counselor Beethoven, but I'm with it also.
Yeah.
I'm whatever smoke you want to give, I got more.
Yeah.
So I had to understand that these kids they understand. And then I was telling them, like, look, I'm free. I'm giving you the code how you can free yourself. They're looking at me like, you a nerd. You just Beethoven our counselor. I'm like, no. I just got rid of 2 of them things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm for real. Like, this is
how did you play in that transition? Because of course the devil always want to pull you back, like this was Godfather
every day.
3. And so how did you, walk that line where I'm still going to be respected in all these areas?
Yeah. I stopped chasing respect. So I have a lot of cousins and friends and young guys that I know now, they chasing respect. Nobody have to respect you. Like you lost. So I remember I was one of those clowns. I was like, I'm gonna demand my respect and all these cute things. And nobody care about your respect. So I had to first understand my identity and understand their position and give them space so we could learn each other. I had to respect where they're coming from. When I did my part, it just works together in that capacity. So that wasn't difficult for me. If what you're asking is explain the question.
Well, just how do you walk the line? Because you go back to the hood.
Oh yeah.
And, you want it to be all good, but then also on the corporate, but you also always want to stay you, true blue.
But I'm always gonna be true me. That's never gonna change because this is all I know. Like I wear t-shirts and jeans and hats to meetings that we probably supposed to be in 7-piece suits.
But you put Hove away, at least in the
I had to put Hove away in order for me to.
I say it's just transition. He's there, but you don't do the things Hove used to do.
No, I can't because I have more. I'm responsible now for people, so I can't really let Hove be Hove because my parents are counting on me. So back then, I didn't know that people were counting on me. I thought it was just me. I wanted to help everybody. I was like, the more money I make is going to free people. But I understand now my presence is important. I have to be there in my family. Like I still have little cousins that are building their own marketing firm now. They're building their own, that calls me to get information. Like I'm still creating business cards for my younger cousins that's building companies. And so my family needed me.
Your family needed you, and I want you to go back, think about it for a second, just a second. That Carlito moment where you could take Benny Blanco out, or you could just hit him down the stairs, or you could walk away.
I mean, God bless his soul. One of my homeboys got killed down here. He got shot in the back of his head from doing a transaction. So that was one of the first thing I realized is getting too close. Friends going to prison. It's getting too close. My position, everything was starting to get closer and closer. So I had to realize I had to make a decision on right or wrong, which way, right or left, which way am I going to go? And I knew once I got my first $3,000 plus check, I was like, oh, should I get paid for my brains? When I started doing events and people are asking me, who does your flyers, your marketing, your commercials, they pay. I pay for that. But then they're like, could they do it for me too? I was like, yeah. Give me $1. I give them 50. I keep 50. I was like, wait a minute, I can make money by being the middleman, by servicing people, because all my creative homeboys hate talking to people.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert also. I don't really love being around and talking to a bunch of people, but I always been the one that had to do what we had to do to get to where we got to go. So it was like I was responsible to go talk to the people, close the deal, bring the deal back, and we handle the work. You know what I'm saying? So that transition, I knew it was important for me to be home. I knew cases that I beat already, things that I've been through, and I was like, you know what? God has given me too many chances. I really have to really lock in and living my purpose.
But here you are trying to go right, but repercussions are still left, for what you did. But would you say the relocation of you being in Florida and leaving that in Atlanta and leaving that in Connecticut?
Man, the streets always follow me. I got right here and got turned on. Like I love the streets, man.
And it loves you back. So I'm saying that devil always come, hey, no, don't leave me.
Yeah, this is my I'm comfortable in the streets. Like the streets is my comfort zone. So it always called me, but I'm wiser now. I had to smarten up that it's like, oh, this is dumb. Oh, you getting football numbers now.
Yeah. This is a setup. This person on the phone right now is.
Yeah. I always knew a lot of things like that. The streets don't love you, man. So I realized that faster and faster I had to maneuver out of it. But once again, I started building a business and I started seeing it work. I was getting paid for my brains. I was getting paid for my experiences. I was getting paid for my creative, being creative and what I really enjoy. So the streets, it didn't make sense at that point. Money is money, man. Like, you can make money in the streets, but you could also lose your life. I'm a pretty smart guy. After a while, I realized, oh, this is not making sense. So I went 100% in building businesses. I remember all my friends were trying to do the same. Nobody wants to be in the streets. Sometimes it leaves you no choice. So you got to do what you got to do to survive. Because the help that you want and the level you want to grow to, you don't get it. It's not given to you. The streets, you go get whatever you want. If you want to be $100,000 dude in the street, there's a way and a map, and you could get that map faster than anybody else.
Yeah.
But to get a map to be a successful businessman, the average guy that's super smart, I always say this, man, the super smart, intelligent fraternity black man is not giving me the roadmap. I wear T-shirts and jeans. I don't wear Dockers and shirts like him. So he doesn't give me the same map. So I have to go and create my own map. Now, luckily, they could touch me.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to pass the ball down, but them smart dudes wasn't listening to me. They didn't want to give me the map. I wasn't part of them.
But if you were on the streets, I say, and you're doing it well, you're a genius. Because, drugs can sell themselves, scams, it's all about system. It's about just breaking the game. You're an engineer at the end of the day.
100%.
You're breaking the game, you put it back together the way it works for you. It's the exposure to say, I can take this same thing and flip it into something else.
A white man gave me exposure. A black man didn't give me an exposure. My white godfather gave me the exposure to want more, to see more, create more opportunity. Every time I ask a black man, majority, and I'm just a raw facts, hey, I want game. He might teach me how to cheat on my wife. He might give me a little game how to drink a little liquor and hang out and play craps. Like,
that's all the pastor, too, he's talking about.
Nah, it's pastor involved also. But to give me game, one thing I've learned, one of the most difficult things that I've been through in business is how difficult the black man was to me. It was like pulling teeth to get some type of game.
Do you think that's because on the streets, you're certified, you got your thing? In the corporate, especially with black folks, they're going to say, are you a traveling man? Or are you divine?
I am a traveling man,
and all that?
But I became a traveling man thinking that was going to get me the next book. They didn't give me the book. Once again, it was like guys hiding from their wives. I was always good with my wife. I never had to hide from my wife because I was good. Like I move. But I'm gonna keep it 100. Like I said, I got the streets. You want to be a street dude? There's a bunch of books for that, and they're open arms because the more dudes they have out there hustling, the more money they make. You want to go into the corporate and build a business and learn how to create a back-end system of how to build a business, how to build business credit, how to structure your company. Tyrone and them, if I'm not a Divine 9 or a Kappa Lappa Lappa,
33rd degree,
that don't matter. And even when I get there, they're lost also. There's no true clarity of how to move to another level. I personally never had, today, because I passed a chapter in my life, I get more resources. I have a lot of great black successful mentors today. But before then, I was frowned upon. I wasn't, they didn't come to me and when I went to them, it wasn't with open arms, like, let me give you the game, black man. Let me teach you these things. It was more, Who is this dude? What fraternity you with? Why don't you wear Dockers and a shirt? Why you don't come to my cookouts? Or why? The same routine. And I had to tap dance for so many brothers, man. And all I wanted to do was learn how to be a better man.
Yeah.
Nobody could give me the recipe. Then I was going to go find a recipe, and all I saw them do was cheat on their wives. And not all. Once again, I got a lot of beautiful black men that show me amazing things today. But in my process to becoming a better black man, I didn't have a lot of black men that gave me the recipe on how to become a better black man because my identity didn't fit who they were.
Yeah.
So that's my facts. Nobody can take that away from me. That's my reality. So I had to dig a little harder. I had to create my own opportunity. I had to soak up game from other people. But one-on-one locally, stop playing, man. These dudes is jokes.
And you guys don't have to cheat, because if you really have your stuff set, you can have as what you want. If you can afford more, you can have more and make this a cultural thing. If that, it might kill you early because women are no joke. And then when you talk about kids and you got to pour into people, you got to look more than just sex, because that's the easiest thing to get in the morning, at night. But it might cost you, whether it's not.
Where are you going with this, Kelly?
I'm going where just letting folks know, because people say, yeah, that's right. That's why I got to go to Africa and get me 2. Or I've heard someone tell me they want to get 10 wives. And I say, you ain't got 1 and you're 54 years old. Stop.
You can't afford it.
You can't afford it.
Stop playing with that.
Stop playing. So you're into the life here. I want to know about merge hip hop. I want to know about making PR better.
Making today better PR marketing.
And all those things.
All those things branched off of so many different things. So merge hip hop and all those shows. Before we go to merge hip hop, it was you probably missed a couple research. So there was Team Elite. It was all these shows was first marketing and branding.
You still on Facebook on Team Elite?
Yeah, and all them things that's on Facebook. I need to go back and clean up everything because I have. But I keep it that way because guys that do research like you, they think they master the playbook and be all lost. So I really keep it like that to keep people lost and not really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you in Miami over there. You all over.
I'm so gone.
Yeah.
The streets taught me that. So all those first entities was creating infrastructure. Marketing and branding has always been my identity. It's always that's my strong point. I understand the science of color, audio, visual, telling the story, impact, advertisement. I always understood those recipes because I had to do it with an event. But I hate to say it like that, but first thing you got to do is with a dime bag of weed. So you have to learn these different scams, images, branding, bottles. I remember growing up, the crack bottles had blue bottles, red bottles, the yellow bottles, and all those different bottles. So I knew which drug dealer was influencing my community from the drug bottles, the bottle tops.
Marketing 101.
Marketing 101. So that's the first time I ever saw those things. I never knew that was going to help me with marketing in the future. I didn't know the importance of those things until now. I'm like, whoa, that's how I really saw all that growing up. But I started building these companies. I wanted to build infrastructure for my ultimate visions. So I always wanted to be in food and beverage. I always wanted to do all these different things. But it started off with a guy that used to work for me that I became partners with. Because I'm not someone that want nobody to work for me. I want us to work together and eventually become partners and grow. Because I might have the money part to come in and invest in it, or the vision, or the balls to do it. Now the other people around me, I can't do it without them. So how do I build them back up? So he's still a partner and friend today. That's involved with all my companies, but we started to merge hip hop together, Courtney. So he had his own hip hop blog. I wanted to bring value to it because I want all my team to win with me. It's different. I want them to buy me a first class flight also. So we win together. That's the only way I know. So with Courtney, he had 954 Hip Hop. I wanted to bring it to a bigger level. So we created Merge Hip Hop in the 203.com. We created platforms all over. Same thing that we're doing now with podcasting. We've been doing that over 10 years ago. Of developing these different shows. So Merge Hip Hop started getting so crazy. I wasn't ready for it. All these things that we created in 10, 15 years ago, I just wasn't ready for it. If we're relaunching merch, we're relaunching a lot of these things now, but merch hip hop was so big. I remember us doing research in places like Dubai where hip hop was illegal. We're calling, like, yo, we want to do a story. They're like, yo, we can't really play hip hop like that in these clubs. Like, what? So then we started realizing how hip hop was big in Africa, big in Japan. So merge hip hop, we were taking all these stories in different parts. And so if I had the capital correct back then, we would have been flying to those markets. We were doing already video vlog. We was already filming things. We had access to Miami. We had 305movement.com. I had so much access to Miami, and just a blessing, man. But I didn't have the infrastructure and the capital to really maximize where I wanted to.
Also, technology, has helped, and laws have changed since then.
100%.
Because there was a time if you played a video on your own site back in the day, you get a call from Universal saying you need a license for that.
Right.
So things have, changed, and people have opened
Well, we were
up.
doing interviews. Like, we were interviewing artists in those different markets, from local artists to, artists that, I'm in Flow Rider. We just started working with Flow Rider and Briscoe and all these guys. They were Miami local big artists, mainstream artists, and we had all access to all that. Every Rick Ross, because I started off as a promoter, so I had all access to all these agents, these promoters, these managers. So I had access to artists. I was just bringing it into content, but all these things cost so much more back in the days, man. And I just. I had the balls to do it, but I didn't have the full funding to keep it going.
Yeah, and venture capital, at least for that type of stuff, nobody was giving you $60,000 for your independent thing to say, yeah, you can.
No, that wasn't. It was all off the muscle. It was all off of the grind. It was my team. It was my ex-wife back then. It was everybody around. We were always putting money in to build this thing. Like, everybody, we all was sacrificing. We all were putting in, but we couldn't keep it. The marathon was longer than we expected. But now, like I said, so today we're going to keep it going because, like I said, me and my partners and my new team now, like, we have a bigger mission. So we know where we're going, and we know we all just have to stay patient and stay in line and follow the system, because success is easier today in content creation.
Well, thank God for what you don't have, because if you would have had the money, Meech would have gave it to you. And then you would have been wrapped up 100%. In a whole bunch of other stuff.
Let me tell you, I know a lot of Meech that will still give it to me, but I have to be careful with that today.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Meeches out there.
Yeah, and also even in the crypto space, somebody airdrop you something, and now you become a crypto millionaire on your Nano X. And if depending on how you claim your taxes or where you're a citizen, you can still be pulled in. Hey, you got that. We heard you got that. So
yeah. I think I'm happy of slow grind today. Because the infrastructure, like, I know now the cement is poured correctly. The beams are still, we're building that infrastructure now. The cameras that we use, every little thing is something that we're creating a system. My whole team, everybody in the team they're focusing on their department. That's making it strong for us to get ready for the next level, what's coming.
So you took it to Hove current day, because Hove took his flip
100%.
And he, talk about how, if
he's always been my influence.
From Reasonable Doubt or before.
100%. I mean, like I said, the street culture is what built me. I know the good things about the street that taught me principles. Like, I can't look into somebody's eye and say I'm gonna do something and not do it. Like, my word is my bond. I didn't learn that from corporate America. I didn't learn that because corporate America, some of the slime ball dudes that you ever meet in the world, they could care less about your family.
Yeah, but the street don't go to court. Court is held on the street.
100%.
So that's why you when you say you're gonna do something, you
do it.
Because that not just impacts you. When you left Connecticut, told y'all we're gonna jump back and forth. When you left, you still have to worry about, are these folks gonna try to come talk to my family about
100%.
Some stuff. So
I had to protect. I remember leaving, and that's why I sent for my brother to move down here. But one thing about me, I've always been a solid dude. I might go through some trial and error and naive ways about certain things that I've done, just not knowing any better. But when it comes down to principles and value and expectations, like, I'm a meet there. my father's a solid man, so there's no way I'm not going to be a solid man off rip.
Shout out to Pepion.
Yeah, Pitch Sean. Yeah, this guy right here. How do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get some water for that too, because you are a savage in this research.
How can you see the difference between having a father and those who didn't even have a man around?
Let me tell you, real life. So I know a lot of fatherless males and females, but fatherless male, I could relate. I could have that conversation, and not all, because I know a lot of great guys also that their mom did a stellar job with them. But I know there's certain principles and values and just basics that a lot of fatherless child don't have. Mm-hmm. We can't relate. The blessing that I have, my father never stopped teaching me. So if I'm around my father for an hour, I'm having 3,000 teachable moments with him.
Yeah.
Like he's going to go. Like I could drive with him. He got to teach me how to drive.
How old is he?
Probably 62 now, 63.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. My father, probably over 65. I don't really know.
Okay.
Don't question those things. I'm terrible at.
Okay, but back in there, you weren't supposed to know either. That's just your daddy. So that's your daddy.
And which is still, there's things I don't know. There's so many I don't know about my father. But when it comes to value and principles and clarity, and he's always going to give it to me. Like he's like, from even how I run my business, everything, he gives me foundation. He can't give me the business way, but he gives me the principle way of just be solid, be good, take care of your people. Like I said, I can't even drive in a car. The way I make a left turn, he's gonna teach me how to make a left turn. I'm like, I've been driving. He doesn't care. He's his responsible. I'm his responsibility. Mm-hmm. That's how he looks at it. Yeah. He don't matter if he's breathing, I'm his responsibility. And I know a lot of guys that don't even take care of the kids the same way. I know a lot of people that don't even know the basic. You could tell in a circle, in a group of men, especially me that I hang out with, you could tell who has father, who didn't. Mm-hmm. You could tell who sticks it through and who doesn't. You could tell who probably had a mom teaching them how to be a husband than a father teaching them how to be a husband. Mm-hmm. That's clarity. I'm telling you, I see it in real time. I was taught to protect and provide, not because my father told me that, because I saw my father protect and provide. Mm-hmm. So it's a natural thing for me. I don't even question it. It's just like, my responsibility with everything. Like in this company, my responsibility is to protect and provide. Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to do things like, there's a lot of things, little things that I do because what I saw my father do. So I hope, I don't want to go in depth as much as I probably would want to.
We'll save some for the book. We'll say because they gotta get the book.
Yeah, the book is definitely coming. I think for me, but there is definitely a difference. And like I said, I'm not saying that there's not other great men out there that did not have a father. Never would say that, but I could tell the difference around people that I know and media people I know, people I've been around, where like, oh yeah, you didn't have that. You didn't have paper in your life. You didn't have that discipline, that expectation. Like my father had expectations from me. Mm-hmm. He don't even play about it, and he doesn't tell me.
Yeah,
but there's an expectation to be great. That Francois name is important to keep a standard. My father have standard how we move in our family, and when he's disappointed, it's because we broke the standard of our family.
One of the biggest telltale signs, you can tell how people have relationships, how people talk about women, and even on the simple things of how, like, if you get a cut on your hand, how if you had a man in your life, because a man gonna tell you, okay, it's a cut, wrap it up, keep it moving.
I didn't even wrap it up. Like, stop crying. We're not even.
Crying, you're gonna get clown. You learn that like at 3 or 4, you're gonna get clown.
That's not even a thing.
But it's just, you can tell the way people react. And like I tell people, I don't do no arguing because I don't argue at home. So how am I gonna come out here? I don't argue with her. So how am I gonna come out here and argue?
Yeah, I don't argue. Like arguing is very difficult for me. Because once again, but look, don't get it twisted now. I remember my father being the man in the house, but I realized my stepmother ran the house.
Mm-hmm. As she should.
Like she was the poise. She was the, like you know how they say a woman builds a home. Mm-hmm. Like I see that today, and I see it how I thought my father was a Don.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my stepmother really was the Don because she controlled the climate of the house. She controlled how when he's coming home, how she cares for him, how she treats him, how he's gonna react, how he's gonna be at peace. So all those different factors, moms are the real OG, but the ones that we see, the one that gave me my foundation, the first leader I looked up to, my first hero, my first idol was my father. Because just him being a solid man, loved in the community. He was a support system in the community. My father had a pickup truck, and he was so prideful of that pickup truck because everybody was able to use it. He was able to give everybody value in the community. He took pride in taking care of people. So for me, why I give up my time so much and I'm always building, because I saw that.
Okay.
I saw my father do it.
Makes sense. It's different than if you just had a mother and you saw different men coming in and out and be, it's
separated. It definitely is a difference.
We're going to get into Cafe Hub, but before you talk about that, because I kind of see this being part of Cafe Hub, I want you to, this is my signature question. What is your community give back that you're doing, you've done, or that you want to do?
Man.
But let's get all into that.
Yeah, you talking heavy right now. I'm responsible for my community. Me being responsible for my community caused me to get a divorce because I was so community first, family second. So sometimes I have regrets for that, but I'm able to be a better man today for that. So meaning when I first learned about Riviera Beach, I wanted to give so much because I was free. So I wanted to go back and say, I could free more of you guys. Look, if you do this, and this, all these different things. But I realized it wasn't about what Riviera Beach could do for me. It was what I could do for Riviera Beach. So the first thing I did was I started creating different identity of what Riviera Beach is, the true heart and soul of Riviera Beach. I created this platform called Good News Riviera Beach, and I created another platform called Taste of Singer Island. So what I wanted to do with that was to develop a new identity and give the true identity of what Riviera Beach is. Because I heard so much negative things about the city, like, oh my God, everybody's killing the hood. I said, sorry, I don't know if you're cussing your show or not.
Just say what you got to say.
I said, there's a motherfucking beach down the street. This ain't no hood.
Yeah.
You guys got palm trees. Hoods I'm from, it's like building 730 and there's 30 of those. And like it's hard. You elevator don't work. You got to walk down 20. Come on, man, stop playing.
Don't go back to the hood in Haiti because that's a whole
different
thing.
The
water, is a luxury.
When I heard that word in the hood and these palm trees and the sun and there's mangoes in your backyard and all these, I didn't understand. So I was like, you know what? Instead of us focusing on all the 2-3 blocks that it's the hood, they want all the smoke. Let's focus on bringing value. So I wanted to create and develop identity and branding in the community. I was like, you know what? Let me create this magazine. I invested the money. Me, my ex-wife, the support around all of us, we invested that money to develop the community with the content by creating a different image or creating an image that we saw into that community. And we wanted to brand it. We wanted to build it. We wanted to bring value. I did a nonprofit organization where I was going in to teach kids about technology called Creative Entrepreneur, where we were teaching kids about becoming entrepreneurs in the creative aspect, where you could actually be a graphic designer at 15 years old and designing graphics. The person that's looking for somebody to design their logo don't care how old you are. So I wanted to give the community that light because I was free from that by creating content, doing all the things that I was doing. So I invested on first the identity. And then I had, my balls, I get hungry. I want more. I want to give more. I want to give because I get blessed. And the way I keep on getting blessed by giving more. So I said, I'm crazy. I'm going to build a cafe in the community because I love the coffee culture. I love what it does. But I also went back from my culture, Haitian culture, island West Indian culture, Jamaican culture, all these West Indian cultures. So it's cafe and Creole hub. Hub is the focal point of the community. So our slogan was the cafe hub, the culture of bringing people together. That's what Cafe Hub was all about. So it was a cafe and a co-working space. I wanted a space where people could come and interact and work, because my office was on Singer Island. I had a lot of very successful white friends. I had a lot of successful black friends, but they never came together. It was like, I live in the West End. I'm mad at the East Side. The East Side's like, why are you mad at me? I just buy my condo because I had the money. You had the same opportunity, but I used to hear this thing all day long. And I was like, you know what? I think the community would have so much more value if once we're able to put something together in the middle. So I started off with a partner that gave up in the process. So then it was all on me and my family. And we had to do everything we had to do to get this cafe going. It went from $100,000 project to like a $380,000 project that we had to do. Learn a lot in that process. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to invest all my money in a building that I don't own. So I poured in, because the thing is, I had my stepson at that time. I wanted to prove to him that we could make this happen. I'm never giving up, because my father never showed me giving up. So I represented that identity of a father in the home at that point. So I needed to keep it going so he could see what that looks like.
But how did you show him how to make $200,000, $300,000 more dollars when you say,
I never gave up, and opportunity was coming. I always had my marketing firm. So we put, sacrifice, my ex-wife sacrifice, my family sacrifice, friends sacrifice.
I need more than that, because some folks gonna think, oh, Hove came back.
No.
VC came and saved the day. So give them a couple tips for that person struggling right now.
No, 100%. So the first thing I did was, once again, obedient, trusting the process. So I had clients like the Sports Commission, the Chamber. I had different clients that I was earning $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 projects that I was constantly building with, that I was earning real money. I had friends, like I had my friend Jason that was a brother. Like he came through for me. He was like, yo, I'm gonna invest $30,000 in it. I had my ex-wife flip a house that she had owned before me that she sold to bring capital in. I had my parents that went and got credit cards.
Oh, wow.
To come in to do it. I had mentors and other people in the community that came and gave me $25,000, $50,000 that I pay back. Like, it's not like it was like, here you go, birthday gifts. It's like payback. But I had GC friends of mine that, Ezra Safford, that came and gave me his license. Because I was paying another firm $7,500 a month or a week. I think every 2 weeks. And they didn't finish the project. Like, everybody dropped the ball on me.
And that's GC. Tell them what GC, so they don't.
A general contractor.
Yeah, okay, because it'll be like, GD? Did he say, I knew it? I knew it.
Yeah.
GD.
I want to be. I was done with I'm a full-blown businessman. So, and I don't want them to get that identity. That's what it is. Like, I'm talking about the mud that I come from, where I am today. But yeah, I had people step up, man. Real people. Black, how people say black people don't support each other? That's some bullshit. We support each other, but you got to be ready to be support. Like, you got to be ready for something that they could support. So I don't use none of that excuse, man. Once you have the product, good product sell itself.
So if you build it, they will come.
If you build the right things, the right people will come. So that's the foundation of it. But I had friends and family.
But the hub was even more than food. And I wasn't here then. The hub, I read about it. I mean, you had the co-working space.
I had the co-working space. We had poetry night. Let me tell you, man, like because I'm planning a pop-up end of the month right now, I had to go back and look. I didn't know. I didn't know how many people we influenced. I go back and I look at when we used to give kids tours of the facility. Like, I didn't know when I was in a newspaper, they're calling me the Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know none of these things were actually happening. I remember when we were in the process, I'm gonna keep it 100. This is the fucked up part. The city, they gave me no help.
No RFP, no source of side,
nothing.
Nothing. Hey, this is the
Hold
grant.
On, but you gotta look at it. I'm in the building where a CRA was. They were looking down at me every day. I'm right across the street from the CRA. I wasn't lendable. I didn't have the business line of credit. I didn't have the credit. And I was just putting every cash that I had. I didn't know you could have cash, but you don't have the credit. I'm not going to lend to you. I was putting 100,000 in the bank and taking it out and paying and lending and borrowing. The bank never helped. These organizations, these Black love people organization, they didn't help. Nobody helped me. The people that helped me was the people.
Yeah.
My family. We had to grind it out. So when I hear people tell me, well, the CRA said they help you, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
The CRA never gave me $1 to help me.
Yeah.
I don't fit their criteria. So for me, the community stepped up. So for me, you're gonna see a bunch of people in the pop-up because this is the people. The Cafe Hub is for the people.
Yeah.
So the people love it. The people support it. And doing this new pop-up and going to redoing this stuff, I got a chance to see how much value we're bringing into the community. And at that time, a lot of people get into why we closed. I think I had too much at that time. So I had nothing. So the moment I was able to get a lot, I went and did a lot. I bought a bunch of businesses. I had 2 event halls in Broward, restaurant. I had event halls up here. I just had a lot. And I couldn't manage that. One time I had over 44 staff, payroll high, $60,000, $70,000 payrolls. And dude, I didn't even know how to even manage a book. I didn't know that, once again, the basic principles of business, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand infrastructure. I could build it. But do I know the infrastructure, how to build
the system?
I didn't have no clue. So that's why today, my first thing is to build a system, because when I'm up, I'm never going to go back down.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for my L because I had to learn all about infrastructure.
How did you learn that? Was it a book or a series of books, or did someone else come in?
It's YouTube University. It's books. It's studying. It's being patient. But
give them one book that you love.
Awakening the Giant. By Tony Robbins. Awakening something. I can't remember the name.
Okay,
of the
but
books.
if they can Google, you can't give it all to them. Hell, you gotta buy it for them next.
But then I had spiritual books that T.D. Jakes. It's a white book. I can't remember the name. I remember I was flying out and I always used to take it with me. But the moment I was able to be a better man, I was able to be a better businessman. So I had to do internal work. I had to heal. I had to heal from divorce. I had to heal from losing business. I had to heal from not being raised by my mother. I had to heal from all these things. Then I was able to come back out and be a better businessman, and then learn the foundation.
How does community treat you when, you say it's an L, but it's really just a learning lesson. So that's what that L stands
That's
for.
100% is for that.
But how did the community look? Because, folks, oh, man, look, I knew he was going to fall off. I always knew.
But the ones that said that was the crabs that never even helped me out.
Yeah.
So, I'm...
Okay.
My foundation is the street, so we don't even play with suckers like that. I'm sucker free, so I don't play with dudes like that.
Yeah.
They'll never bring it to me because I'm still Hove.
Yeah.
That I will still give it to somebody and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I just want to be very clear with people.
Yeah.
Because I fight so hard for what I have, it's not given to me. All of it is earned. Yeah. So when it comes to, man, look at him, he fell. They probably say it amongst each other. Of course, our community is a chatty patty community.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes down to the hard work, the people that matter to me, it was like, you'll be back.
So kind of like Hove, I don't hear your corny raps. I'm in the air, and that's you don't hear it because you're doing your thing.
I'm so focused, man, that I don't have the time and the patience. Once again, they're not bringing it to me. They might talk amongst each other, so that's cool. That's cute for them. But for me, nobody's coming up to me and saying, man, you a failure?
Yeah. That's deep. But the cafe with the pop-ups, can you give them a hint on what the menu will be? How often will you do it?
I don't know yet. I think organically, how this whole thing came about. If I ever tell somebody I'm opening up something, they automatically think it's a new Cafe Hub. So I'm like, every time I'm like, yo, I'm prepping something up. Even when I was doing a grand opening for this space, it was like, he's opening up another Cafe Hub. I'm like, no. And once again, like we had probably 500 and something, 100 something plus reviews. We're like at a 4.9. I went back reading the reviews and seeing the pictures, the imagery, and the poetry nights. I was like, yo, this is bigger than me. So how do I give a taste of what I might do in the future? Let me start seeing the momentum, see how it built. I end up posting it, like just throwing it out there. crazy. The feedback, how could I set up a vendor booth there? It became a whole community event. And I'm like, I just wanted to put a food truck here and give you guys the top 5, 10 things that you guys ordered.
Yeah.
Now it's a whole community outreach where it's like, we're going to do our top hits were the grit bowls, the jerk chicken panini, our basil lemonade. Once again, it was culture. I wanted to bring all those things together to develop what we have now. And I did a lot of things that I like. But the grits part, I grew up up north, so I didn't really eat grits. I've never eaten grits a day in my life.
Really?
And I sold a lot of grits.
Oh, let's get on DoorDash real quick.
Yeah, no, please don't do it. Because you'll be so mad at me. But I learned the recipe through Southern women, really. Once a grandmother approved the grits, I was like, we got something. Because she knows grits. She knows when it's lumpy. She knows when it's smooth. She knows when it's creamy. I didn't know all those intricate things played a role in one thing called grits. So once I mastered that, with the help of my family and my brother and everybody, my team before, we mastered grits. So once we mastered grits, we knew we was able to take off. Because I opened up the cafe without grits. I didn't realize I was in the South. I thought I was building a coffee shop, but the South is like, how you not gonna have grits in Riviera Beach? And I was like, oh, you guys want grits? Started grits and it took off like crazy. So, so the pop up, we're gonna have that. We're gonna do it for 2 days, the 30th and the 31st, just to build that momentum. I know if I do it for 1 day, it's not gonna be enough time for people to really come out and do what I believe is gonna do now. But I want to see the momentum. I want to see how it work organically. And then, God willing, I'm able to do other weekends after other weekends, thinking about doing it in a week. But then ultimately what I'm learning is while I was looking for a food truck, I realized there's not a lot of people that lend food trucks. So I'm realizing there's another opportunity for that I could bring more value. Once again, I'm thinking about getting a bunch of food trucks. I'm saying it before I even do it, but they can have it. Of getting more food trucks to give more food vendors or people that's cooking from home, giving them an opportunity to do a pop-up food experience. So if you might want to do a restaurant, African restaurant, you could say I want to rent the truck.
Yeah.
And we could create a whole experience for it. We could do the graphics, we have all the infrastructure now that we could influence.
Why not just get a mobile pod since you're into houses and development as well?
100%.
Just have a mobile, house type thing where, come eat, catch the itis. I don't know, catch a nap.
Yeah.
Because I
don't know about all that, Kellen. I forgot who I'm talking to.
Yeah. I'm just because we get full, we want to use the bathroom. I'm a bathroom snob, so I want to use a clean bathroom.
I heard I'm a water snob. I didn't know there was a bathroom snob too.
Oh yeah. It's the type of person who, when you're at the airport and the bathrooms, are closed or locked, you got to go into the lounge and you'll spend whatever amount to get in the lounge so you can go use that bathroom. That's a bathroom snob. Or when you're going through here, you got to go through the hotel to use the bathroom because the gas station. It's not where your booty's supposed to touch. So, you know.
You're definitely a bathroom snob, my brother. I didn't know. You just learned something new.
That's what happens when you come from bigger families and, some people keep a cleaner bathroom than others. Bathroom snob. Yeah. But, and a water snob.
I'm definitely a water snob.
Okay. What's your brand?
Essential, Core. I don't do Zephyr Hill. I think it's poison, and I had to drink it today because it's all we had here in the office.
Okay.
But some people love Zephyr Hill.
Okay.
I'm Poland Spring because I was raised up north. So Poland Spring, Essential, and Zephyr Hill.
Okay. Now,
I wish they sponsored this show too, so gave them all this shout out.
Yeah, for real. Tell the people how important you talked about your ex-wife, but now with Mrs. Torrey, talk about how, that combination has helped you just in life. Because, men need women. The scriptures tell you 100%.
That, Tori is life-changing. Tori gives me the belief system. She believes so much. She's so connected to God that it just scares you. She gives you to believe anything is possible because of her belief in her relationship to God. Because I'm still Hove at days, Tori tells me how not to be Hove, to stay focused. So that support system is important. So you have to understand, sometimes men are willing to give up on themselves because it's easier. But you need that right partnership that tells you you're great. You could do it. Keep it going. There's more for it. Keep climbing. And those two, that is important for this next level. I know this level where I'm going into in life, my belief system have to be greater than my actual reality. Because you're talking about developing a team. You're talking about developing systems. You're talking about developing a network with 100 shows. That's a lot of things. That's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of family. My team is more important than me because I got to make sure they're good. I got to make sure Tori's good. I got to make sure everybody else is more important than me.
Yeah, captain eats last.
100%.
And he goes down with the ship. Is Tori more like your biological mother or your stepmother?
They're both unbelievable women. I think all two. So you gotta look at it. My mother still mothered me all the way from wherever she was. My stepmother gave me systems and processes how to become a better man also. She taught me how to cook, clean, wash, to all these things. So I'm someone, and also in my head, I believe I don't need a woman in my head. I could do, because I know how to cook, clean, take care of myself. I know how to put my house together. But once again, Tori makes it into a home. So that's the thing about this that separates those pieces, because those pieces matter when you don't expect it. I had this bright idea one year that I'm going to live in hotels. Between Tori and one of my homegirls, Quasia, they're like, "You're a fool." What? I'm living in a Marriott. They're going to come clean my room for me. I had this bright ass idea.
That's only because he has a show coming out like that, y'all.
Well, I do have a show called The Stay.
He's showing you the
I'm probably not filling them stay because I don't want to be in no more hotels. Because I really had this bright idea, and they, Tori and my homegirl Christian was always telling me, like, "You're stupid. You're not gonna like it." This is when before we came together as one, and I was like, I'm living in a hotel. I didn't want to own the responsibility again of being one with anybody else. I didn't want that responsibility, because that responsibility is a lot, especially if they have other other people with them. So I had to trust the process again. And, that is a very difficult thing to do. I don't recommend anybody that's not ready for that smoke. You got to be ready to take on that responsibility of being one with a person and other responsibilities with them. You got to be ready for that. But to say the identity of how my mother is, nurturing, supportive, want the best for me, she brings that to the table. To say how my stepmother is, a forward thinker, supportive, rocking with my father from all his eras he took in life.
Hey, just a man.
Just
a man.
I see all that in her. I think that's a great question. I see all that in her and her principles and her values and what she stands for. You're never gonna come between her and God. So those principles, that's what I always saw in women in my family. So she carries those same values.
A lot of you women listening, rewind that part. So when you say I'm trying to find someone, it's not about your makeup. It's not about your look, your nothing. It's about that internal. That's what a man is looking for.
Don't get it twisted. My lady got to be bad now. I want to be clear.
No. That they can go, search and do all that. But since we don't make any humans, right? We don't get to say who looks good, because everything looks good to everybody differently. But the fact that we have this whole high value man talk, and I'm guilty of putting seeds in in water.
I'm a high value man.
Yeah, but your high value has very little to do with your net worth. It's the character that you have.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the same thing with the women, because I'm seeing, like, I live in a silo. And I'm hearing women talk about on YouTube, and I got this good, and I'm like, that's not even.
Yeah, I'm not one for that. So for me, one thing about me, the moment I found out I was a great man, I knew my stock was up. When I got single and I was free, I was free.
Yeah.
And I've realized oh, I need to clean up a little bit. I need to get, like, when my ex-wife told me all the things I did wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you giving me the playbook how to be a better man.
Yeah.
So now when I became free, earning a decent amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
earning what a high value man make,
Mm-hmm.
and getting my life in order, and I knew my principles and my value was there, I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything, but my value and what I'm looking for in a woman is different than most. Like, I don't need my wife to be worth $20 billion or have all these other material things to be a good woman.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell how good you are and how patient, because a woman got to be patient with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see how patient you are with the people that you're around. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, it makes better sense. And the belief system, I think you have to believe a greater power than what you see every day to be with someone like myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I want more, and my more is something that I can't really see or touch. So my spouse have to understand the same thing. And I'm looking at all the other dynamics that makes a woman whole that we could build together. It's a lot. And I learned this from one of my interviews for my show, Hustler's Testimony. Just had to realize I had to get that plug in.
Have to.
With Hustler's Testimony, I remember a buddy of mine, Ezra Buddy Saffer, he was saying that he didn't realize how much of a nurturing thing he needed from not having his mom.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up with his father. And my stepmother was there for me, but she wasn't nurturing like I believe that people have from their biological mothers. And I knew this next chapter of my life, I needed nurturing at times that I didn't even know I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted something and I saw her do a certain thing a certain way, before I even verbally say I wanted, I was like, okay, this makes sense. So I'm a common sense type of dude also. 1 + 1 = 2. More likely I'm okay with it. Of course, in that process, it should start getting a little crazy, but the purity of relationship and the identity that we have as a unit is genuine. It's real.
Yeah.
It's a process though.
And very classy. As we we wind down for time, I want to make sure I give you enough time to get your last words, plug those things that I may not have tapped in or may not wanted
Cool.
you to know. Hey, yeah, when I tapped into your computer on the system,
It won't be the last conversation we have, I don't think. I think we have a lot more to go, so we'll be able to keep this legacy going that we're doing.
Amen. Because I could have went, some things, like I say, they're gonna be saving for the book, but we got the pop-up shop. What other things are you working on, or how can the community help you? Whatever last words you want to do.
I think the first thing the community could help me is watching all the shows under our network. We have a show, Power to Be. We have Sit With Me. We have Hustler's Testimony. We're working on our relationship and our deal that we could bring more value to your show. Our goal is to have 100 shows in the next 5 years. We are opening up more locations for podcast locations. So the first way the community can help me is like, click, and subscribe.
All right. All free 99.
Yeah, that's the first way they could help, is by liking and following and sharing those shows. And really just be part of the process, man. Like, they're going to see a lot in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, the next couple of years, because I'm aggressively getting back into Beethoven and Hove. Not Hove, what you guys think, but the grinding. I locked in. I've been meditating on it for the past couple of weeks, where I'm aggressively going to move in the network side and build a bunch of shows. And I want to get a first round of funding going to bring more capital into this company to take it to another level. That's where I am right now. I'm developing the biggest podcast network and agency in the world. That's my goal, is to create a bunch of content, a bunch of shows that bring value into the community. I want the fun shows also, but I definitely want the content to be influential. So.
I love it. And you guys, I love it because I didn't even get to ask my questions, all of them. And again, we'll do it again, or you write it in your book, or you do a TED Talk, because I really want to know how you dealt with the community hurt, like betrayal when you're giving your all and the community, flip-flops. But again, a great storyteller always leaves something for the next story.
A lot of it.
You guys have been blessed with the game, whether you are watching on iTunes, iHeartRadio, whatever network, even AYV Radio in Freetown, Sierra Leone, wherever you are checking this out, YouTube, make sure you share this game. This is supposed to be a conversation to help you, inspire you, keep you moving, show you how people started, sustained, and succeeded. I thank you for listening, watching, sharing the game. Y'all be blessed.
Amen.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed bias socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.